Johan Liebert's IQ Code. The key to becoming a master strategist. They told you to be kind, to play fair, to always speak your mind. But what if I told you, the smartest person in the room often says the least, reveals nothing, and watches everything? What if the key to mastering every social situation isn't about being the loudest but the most calculating? Welcome to Johan Liebert's IQ Code, the mental blueprint of one of the most terrifyingly brilliant strategists in anime history. This isn't about being evil. It's about becoming sharper, calmer, and 5 steps ahead in every interaction. You're about to learn the same psychological strategies that made Johan nearly unstoppable. Let's break down 6 cold, calculated tactics that you can use to boost your intelligence, your influence, and your control without ever raising your voice. And by the end, you won't just watch like Johan, you'll think like him. 1. Master observation. It started with a stare. One moment, a man was talking confidently, the next, he was unraveling. Why? Because Johan saw the micro-twitch in his jaw, the flicker of doubt in his eyes. While most people listen to words, Johan listens to the body. And that changed everything. Johan's brilliance starts with extreme observation. He doesn't just hear what people say, he watches how they move, how they breathe, when they pause. He uses this constant mental footage to map out what people truly think, even when their words lie. This ability makes him terrifying, because he sees your intentions before you even say them. To build this skill, start watching people's habits. Do they touch their face when lying? Do they speak faster when nervous? Begin with friends or people at school. The more patterns you spot, the more invisible power you gain. You'll realize people leak truth with their body, Johan just collects it. Most people are too distracted to notice small details. They're glued to their phones or busy thinking about what they'll say next. But if you want to sharpen your mind like Johan, silence your thoughts and sharpen your senses. Observation is a muscle, train it every day. And here's the catch: when you observe well, you also learn how to hide your own cues. That's the double power. You not only read others like a book but start editing your own stories so no one can read you. Observation isn't just about seeing, it's about understanding. It's about connecting dots others never see. And when you do it well enough, the world becomes predictable, and strategy becomes second nature. 2. Decode patterns of weakness. Over 80% of human behavior follows unconscious patterns. Most people repeat the same routines, make the same mistakes, and react the same way under stress. Johan uses this to his advantage every time. He studies these loops not just in individuals but in entire systems. From body language to speech habits to emotional reactions, Johan notices what people do repeatedly, then strikes when they're most vulnerable. It's not guessing, it's pattern recognition turned into a weapon. Think about someone who always bites their nails when nervous. Or someone who always agrees when pressured. These are micro-patterns you can exploit once you see them. You don't need genius IQ, you need discipline to study people. Johan had that discipline. Start keeping a mental log of people's reactions. What triggers their anger? What makes them flustered? These patterns are predictable, and once you notice them, you can stay one step ahead. The real secret is to subscribe to the dark intellect to stay up to date with the latest dark psychology tricks and notice how people betray themselves with repetition. Johan doesn't need to confront people, he waits for them to repeat their weaknesses. And they always do. Understanding patterns gives you power without force. It's like playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. You know the next move before they do. 3. Weaponized silence. Most people feel awkward in silence. They rush to fill it. But Johan? He lets it breathe, and that's where the tension grows. Silence is Johan's invisible pressure. In a room full of noise, he says nothing and yet commands attention. It's not laziness, it's strategy. Silence makes others uncomfortable. It forces them to speak more, reveal more, guess more. And while they're guessing, Johan is calculating. The next time you're in a debate or heated conversation, don't interrupt. Just stop talking. Watch what happens. People will talk themselves in circles trying to fill the space. In their rush, they often expose their fears, insecurities, or lies. Silence also makes you seem powerful. Think about it: who has more control? The person yelling, or the one calmly watching? Johan doesn't need to raise his voice, because his silence already says, I'm in control. Start small, pause before answering questions. Nod instead of replying immediately. Make them wait. The longer you stretch the silence, the more power you hold. Johan makes people crave his reaction, and by the time he gives it, they're already off balance. Silence is not weakness. It's a choice. And when you use it wisely, people will lean in to hear what you say next, or fear what you're thinking. Picture this: you're playing a game of chess, but not just with the pieces in front of you. You're visualizing every possible move your opponent could make 5 steps ahead. That's how Johan Liebert's mind works. He doesn't just think in words, he thinks in mental images, like watching a movie of all outcomes play out before making his move. Most people think in fragments. They consider one consequence, maybe two. But Johan, he sees the entire map. This visual thinking gives him a strategic edge. It's how he anticipates people's actions, reactions, and even manipulates their thoughts, because he's already seen how they'll respond in his mental theater. You can train this skill by practicing mental simulation. When faced with a decision, stop and close your eyes. Walk through the steps visually. Imagine what happens if you say yes or no, what others will say, how the environment might change. The more detailed your inner movie, the more insight you'll gain. Athletes use visualization before big games. Pilots rehearse emergency scenarios in their heads. Strategists like Johan do it in every social or high-stakes setting. It's a habit that rewires your brain for prediction and control. So instead of reacting to what happens, you'll already be prepared. You'll walk into situations with a calm confidence that others can't understand, because they're still reacting, while you already know the ending. Want to be a step ahead in every room you walk into? Start building your inner theater. Master it, and you'll never be caught off guard again. 5. Break people's expectations. Here's a paradox. Johan is both predictable and unpredictable at the same time. He follows patterns, yet breaks them at the exact moment others expect consistency. This contradiction keeps people on edge and gives them control. People are terrified of what they can't predict. Most of us live on patterns. We assume that if someone smiles, they're friendly. If they're quiet, they're shy. But Johan uses this human tendency against them. He builds a predictable image, then breaks it with sudden, unexpected moves causing fear, confusion, and obedience. Think about someone you trust doing something completely out of character. It shakes your belief in what's real. That's psychological dissonance, and it's powerful. Johan breaks expectations not just for shock, but to disarm people's mental defenses. You can do this subtly. For example, if you're known for being agreeable, calmly assert yourself when needed. It'll hit harder than if you were always confrontational. If you're usually quiet, speak with sudden clarity in key moments. The change itself gives you control. When people can't predict you, they tread carefully. They hesitate. And in strategy, hesitation is your greatest advantage. It gives you space to lead, to dominate conversations, and to influence decisions without force. The real power isn't in being unpredictable all the time, but in knowing when to break your pattern. That's what Johan masters. Use contradiction with purpose, and you'll command every room with quiet intensity. 6. Use fear strategically. Imagine learning that someone has manipulated a room full of people without ever raising their voice, and none of them even realized it until it was too late. That's not fiction. That's Johan Liebert. He doesn't yell, threaten, or fight. He uses fear like a scalpel, calm, surgical, precise. Most people misuse fear. They lash out, intimidate, or try to overpower others. Johan understands that fear is most powerful when it's quiet and psychological. It's in the unknown. It's in silence, in the smile that doesn't match the situation, in the knowledge that he knows more than you. Instead of triggering panic, he creates unease. He lets others imagine the worst without ever confirming it. That's how he creates pressure without confrontation. It's not fear of harm, it's fear of uncertainty, of what Johan might do or already knows. You can use this tactic wisely. If you're negotiating or leading, don't reveal all your intentions. Let your calm, quiet confidence make others wonder what you're thinking. Use pauses, silence, or unexpected questions to shift the emotional tone. Fear lives in the unknown, not in shouting. This isn't about being cruel. It's about understanding the psychology of influence. Strategic fear creates space for control. It keeps you respected and never underestimated. The lesson? Don't fear fear. Learn to use it carefully, like Johan. Because when you know how to stir the invisible emotions in a room, you gain the power to move people without even touching them. 7. Build a dual identity. Picture a mask. One face shows warmth, charm, and trustworthiness. The other hides in the shadows, calculating, watching, preparing. Johan Liebert doesn't just wear this mask, he is the mask. And this dual identity makes him nearly untouchable. In public, Johan is the perfect gentleman. Polite, intelligent, likable. People trust him immediately. But beneath that image is a master manipulator, a strategist playing a completely different game. By crafting a perfect outer image, he hides his true self in plain sight. Most people try to be real all the time. But authenticity doesn't mean exposing everything. Johan teaches us that power comes from control. You choose what others see. You control their perception of you. That's how you lead them down a path while walking a different one yourself. Start by controlling your social mask. You don't need to lie, you just need to decide what part of you to reveal. In serious settings, be composed. In casual ones, be charming. The key is consistency in each role until switching it serves your purpose. This duality gives you flexibility. You can disarm threats, attract allies, and move undetected because nobody suspects the calm, smiling figure who seems so harmless. Want to become untouchable like Johan? Then learn to build your public face. Make it believable. Make it perfect. And behind that mask, sharpen your mind to strike only when it matters. 8. Always have a hidden move. Here's the secret you've been waiting for. Johan Liebert never plays all his cards. No matter how calm, no matter how direct he seems, there's always a hidden move waiting. And that's the final key to his strategic genius. Most people act based on what they want right now. They argue, persuade, or fight for immediate goals. Johan plans for outcomes others don't even see. He knows that the most powerful move is the one nobody knows is coming until it's too late. In chess, it's called the quiet move, a move that doesn't look threatening at first but sets up a devastating blow. That's Johan's specialty. He might appear to lose, just to win bigger later. Every word, every step, is calculated to set up the next one. To use this in your life, start thinking beyond the moment. Ask yourself, what's the move behind the move? Don't just solve problems, create setups. In arguments, give in to something small if it leads to something bigger. In plans, include a path nobody sees but you. Now you know Johan Liebert's IQ code. Not just how to think like a master strategist, but how to move like one. From mastering silence and image control to playing long-term games with hidden moves, this isn't just psychology, it's power. If you're ready to reshape how people see you, influence any room, and move like a silent strategist, then you've already taken the first step. But there's more. You now need to learn how to handle people like a master. Check out Power and Persuasion, Light Yagami's Guide to Manipulation, and complete your transformation into someone no one dares to underestimate.